This feels like a historic moment.
Well, I think it is a very important moment, as the President said, that these warrants have been issued, and it shows that individuals, whatever their position, however high, don't have a free pass, and that the law binds us to some basic principles. So I think it is very important for that reason and many others.
What is the next step now? What happens next?
Well, the next step is that these warrants will be, they have to be circulated, and states will have to consider whether they can enforce those warrants. But also we're continuing our investigations. There's many other crimes in Ukraine that we're looking at, and we also have some other options if the warrants are not complied with regarding applications for confirmation hearing in absence in the future.
Do you believe it's possible that one day we will see President Vladimir Putin in the dock?
I think those that think it's impossible fail to understand history, because the major Nazi war criminals, Milosevic, Kradich, Mladic, former President Charles Taylor, Jean Kabanda from Rwanda, Hissène Habré, all of them were mighty, powerful individuals, and yet they found themselves in courtrooms whose conduct was being adjudicated over by independent judges. And that also gives cause for hope that the law can, with however difficult it may be, the law can be supreme.
So is the message today that nobody is above the law?
I think the message must be that basic principles of humanity bind everybody, and nobody should feel they have a free pass. Nobody should feel they can act with abandon, and that definitely nobody should feel that they can act and commit genocide or crimes against humanity, war crimes, with impunity, because we have an international criminal court. We also have basic norms of customary international law. And there's many different fora around the world, which is reducing the scope and the room for impunity, and fewer safe havens. So I think that's an important lesson that we need to, render effective.
It feels significant that we're talking about this in terms of months and not years. Often the feeling is that international law particularly is a sort of slow-moving beast. Was that very intentional for you to try to start these investigations moving as quickly as possible with Ukraine?
Absolutely. Not because it's Ukraine. I've been on the defense. I've been representing victims for 30 years. I've been a barrister. And international law has been effective in some cases, in many cases, but I think the ICC has been pedestrian in some respects, and we need to accelerate. And I think that's very important for us. If we feel that the law is for us, as prosecutors, as judges, as defense counsel or victims' lawyers, and we don't feel the weight of responsibility that there are people in refugee camps or crossing borders with plastic bags with children in arms, and grandparents, and they're fleeing with fear, we're not fulfilling our responsibilities under the law, but also as members of humanity, as well as we should.
So this is about justice for victims, not about geopolitics.
Absolutely. It must be. The law must be about, and particularly criminal law, must be about victims and survivors and humanity.